Mr. Welch's first rule of finance is, for every check, there is an equal and opposite bill. Doesn't matter how much money I make, there's always someone who needs that money more than I do. I get my tax return, and my 2008 Pontiac Grand Am blows a valve. The repair bill was a dime off of the amount of the check. I wish I was making that up. So I'm always looking for a bargain. And what's the best way to get a bargain? Find a sale. And the best way to get a sale is for the merchant to have far more available than necessary, resulting in lower prices. But how do you do that with a fantasy setting? Merchant wizards, that's how. And Mystara has 2 of them, with complete rules. Rules that will make most DMs veto the classes out of hand, but you can still do it. Welcome to Mystara. I'm Mr. Welch, and today we're looking at Mystara's mini magical mercantile marketeers. Anybody can get a dry good from point A to point B. Put the thing on a ship or a wagon, take it to the market, and then sell it there, hopefully for a profit. That's the way it's been done since we've been trading. But there's a lot of things that can go wrong with the normal methods. The cargo can spoil, be damaged, stolen, or worse. Someone else is already selling the same thing when you get there. Nothing like arriving with your 2 wagons filled with goblin pelts and finding out that somebody has already sold the town all the goblin pelts they needed 2 days ago. So now you have to go find another town to unload your freshly skinned goblins before they start to rot. So the 2 largest merchant nations decided to start training wizards in a school of magic specifically targeted to getting their cargo to other markets faster, safer, and in some situations being able to ship things that normally wouldn't be transportable. For example, sometimes you gorge yourself on super spicy Belkadese peppers and realize you seriously need a lot of ice cream. The problem is ice cream obviously has to be made on the spot. You can't exactly transport it from one city to the next because it's going to melt. So you just have to suffer wishing that there was a way to go out and buy fresh ice cream. But thanks to the preserve shipment spell, the merchants of Derken can ship freshly made ice cream from their markets to your city. Because of the magic will not melt, spoil, or otherwise become inedible as long as it's in one of their specially prepared wagons or ship holds. So you can enjoy your fresh vanilla ice cream on a hot summer day. Just eat it quickly because it's going to melt coming home from the market. The 2 wizard classes for Mystara are ordinarily enough called the Merchant and the Merchant Prince. These were found in the Derken and Minthad gazetteers, and they let you learn magic if you made enough money. Yes, even non-magical races like dwarves could get wizard spells if they sold enough stainless steel baby binkies. The rules were a tack-on, meaning they could be added to any class if they qualified. These effectively made the relevant characters dual-classed, with separate experience systems for the merchant half. You gained experience through any profit you made through selling items. Merchant XP did not cross over with regular experience points. So if you found a vase worth 5,000 gold pieces as a fighter, you got your share of 5,000 XP using the normal rules. To earn merchant XP, you would have to purchase that vase, then resell it, and the profit margin is how you leveled up. There were some ways to cheese it, like letting someone else claim the vase, them getting all of the XP from that, then you buy it from them for a copper piece, and then sell that again for the full 5,000. And then you get the money back to the original owner by buying something from them for the sale price. These separate experience rules could turn into a magical mathematical munchkin merchant margin migraine, so it wasn't allowed in a lot of games. The 5th edition Merchant Prince did away with the tacked-on rules and just converted it to a wizard subclass, though it was still heavily flavored to Derken and Minthad. The subclass got access to the merchant spells, a unique subclass of spells devoted to making money and keeping cargo safe. Funnily enough, many of the merchant spells were popular utility options because instead of counting out a chest full of mixed coins, you could just cast a spell. It was one of the most popular subclasses among playtesters, and as always, the Mystara Player's Guide, which has now been revised with new and better rules, is available gratis on freemystara.com, where you can download a bunch of free Mystara stuff, head over to the various Mystara-related websites, and if you want to help with the Mystara DMG with the art, there's a donate button. To qualify to be a merchant, you have to join one of the merchants guilds of either Derken or Minthad, and the former is a lot easier to join than the latter. Derken requires you to get a job as a merchant, agree to their contract terms, and there you go, you can learn spells by selling stuff. This requires you to pay them 1,000 Darrows per year, and taxes all inter-guild sales by 0.5%. This only applies to wholesale purchases. Retail sales to customers aren't taxed. This is in addition to all regular sales and income tax from any outside governmental taxes. The tax only applies to Derken guilds. It's hard to tax you selling to a Yalari merchant in Kutzmetz, as they don't keep the same records as they do back home. If you're a foreigner wanting to be a Derken merchant, the annual fee is doubled, but the sales tax remains the same. There is a code of conduct you must obey as a Derken guild member. First, cheating other guild members means expulsion. Technically, everybody is on the same side. All the guilds work for the Republic, and shortchanging each other is frowned upon. This doesn't mean you can't undercut them or steal customers, but you can't defraud them in business dealings. So don't sell them substandard copper while claiming it's high quality. because people will be talking about that deal for at least 3,000 years. The second way to get kicked out of the guild is poor customer service. If you get enough complaints, you get investigated. If the guild finds that you're a poor merchant and you're cheating the public, they boot you. The last method is to be convicted of a major crime. This doesn't require an investigation, it's automatic. If you have your guild status revoked, it's permanent. There's no way to regain it. The Derken Merchants Guild has hired wizards over the years to create new spells for their members, resulting in the magic they now wield. These spells are available to anyone in good standing to the guild that has reached level 2 in the guild, meaning they have earned at least a minimum of 5,000 gold pieces in profit. Then you're allowed to learn the guild spells. These are considered a state secret. The Republic of Derken does not have an entire group of wizards who have discovered a new method of magic and are using it to gain unfair advantage against their foreign rivals. Selling or even revealing these spells to outside wizards get you immediately expelled from the guild, and they will go so far as sending assassins to stop a merchant that's trying to sell the Republic's secrets. Derken, the ultimate good guy nation, will shank you for letting other wizards know these spells even exist. Remember that. To learn a new merchant spell, you must find another merchant wizard that knows it, or return to the guild hall in Derken City where all the spells are stored in their library. It takes a week to learn a spell per level, up to a full month for the 4th level spells. These lessons are free, but eager merchants have grease some palms to free up schedules of their higher-ranking guild members. It's frowned on, but it's not against the rules. How badly do you want to use a spell to balance your ledger? Most of the merchant spells Derken prefers involves increasing the odds of finding customers, securing wagon loads, and making it an easier time on the road for the caravans. Many of the spells are utility in nature, designed to reduce workloads or to double-check wagons, animals, and cargoes for damage, shifting, or missing cargo. The merchant wizards have no offensive spells at all, except for possibly Charm Person that they get at the highest level of their spell list. These are spells devoted to reducing paperwork, shortening inspection times, or making smooth travels across long distances. There are a few spells that are less than legal, like the Embezzling spell, which acts as a magic script, but only for accountants. It's not a spell they will admit exists, but in some ports, that spell can get you past a corrupt official. Just don't get caught using the Embezzle spell against the guilds. They will kill you for that, in the most polite and cost-effective way possible, naturally. Then we get to the Merchant Princes of Minthad, and now the gloves come off. Minthad is much harder to join to get your magical money mojo, because you have to be a successful member of the guild before they will even talk to you about their secret merchant wizard tricks. To even qualify, you must first be a certified master in the guild. No journeymen or apprentices will be considered. You aren't becoming a merchant prince at level 1 of a campaign. Then you have to convince the head of the tutorial guild, in this case Holia Mapsir, that you are worthy of the special training. If he likes you, then you're allowed to become one. Minthad merchant spells are far more restrictive than Derken. They're restricted to elf or human only. Dwarves and halflings aren't viable, and don't ask if you're a filthy kana. You need to have an intelligence of 12 and a dexterity of 9, and at least 2 skill points in bargaining or appraisal. You must have a master level skill in your chosen profession, meaning the skill's value has to be at least 17. Then you have to earn 20,000 gold pieces in profit over a 4-year period. That's just to be eligible to be considered. This being Minthad, there's a lot of politicking and more than a bit of backstabbing. Some of that quite literally. There is a 40% chance to become a merchant prince, with a 1-year wait to reapply if you fail. Your chances improve based on your charisma, your income, the number of ships you own, if you can already cast magic, and for having more than one master level skill. This is not an option for beginning characters, and even then it's going to take years of play in-game to even get the chance. If you succeed, the training is free because they expect you to make them a lot of money. Here's the downside. Your character has to stay in Minthad for 1d4 plus 3 years to train. Going on adventures pauses the training. Until that's done, no magic spells for you. Then you have to learn the skill Merchant Magic up to level 15 or you don't get spells. You get all the other bonuses, but until that skill is up to level 15, no Minthad Merchant Magic for you. Merchant Prince spells are mostly regarding sailing and getting ships to port safely. They also have a few offensive spells to make sure they get to port safely first. This class can have spells that get up to level 7 compared to the paltry 4th level limit for Derken merchants. In addition to having spells, you are elevated to one of the highest castes in Minthad society and have certain fees and taxes waived for casting magic. The spells include weather control, summoning elementals to help or hinder ships, numerous divination spells to find local sea life or increase the visual range of your ship. There's not much of an emphasis on paperwork saving spells, but if the rival ship's captain is currently on fire, that gives you more time to fill out forms. The merchant magic rules for most DMs was a pain in the neck. The Minthad rules are so restrictive it's practically an NPC class. Nobody wants to take half a decade off playing your character so they can learn how to cast light as a fighter. Derken gives magic to anybody that pays them money, even if the race can't cast magic normally as part of the setting's history. You have to keep track of a separate experience chart for the secondary class, which leads to even further rules problems as the players are going to start demanding the DM keep track of their broker points, and risks turning the game into a simulation. Still, I know players love that kind of game from the response you gave to the last video. Now, if the players decide they want to play a werebear merchant, requiring the DM to keep track of 3 separate forms of experience points for a player, they are free to set that character sheet on fire, and probably the player holding it. That's the merchant magic of Mystara. Like a lot of the Gazetteer rules, these were optional add-ons that TSR wanted to see if they would work. It's not really for players, but it does give the setting a lot more flavor. Next week is the Future Princes of Glantry. We got 4 new ones in 2nd edition, but who are they? Until then, remember, that Pontiac put my mechanic's daughter through medical school.